want to start this session. Normally I'd give you guys like a huge long recap, but I kind of want to hear what you guys remember first, and then I'll sort of fill in the gaps where I need to. What do you guys remember about where you were?
I thought we
Gregory,
just...
go for it. I was gonna make a joke, so you go.
I was gonna say, I thought we had just like left. What the fuck was that guy's name? The guy who like runs kind of the bandit group.
Lizard Man or something. Lizard
Karamo, yeah.
Karamo.
Oh,
yeah.
Karamo.
I thought we had just dealt with him in
Beastly
some capacity.
We appeased him.
Yeah.
With the option of potentially helping him in the future. Like we didn't like leave on bad terms.
Did we give him? Was he
We
the one who
were.
getting the
I think
artifacts?
we were exiled from that island thing, though.
Oh yeah. For no good reason.
For no reason at all.
Yeah. Davarse killed the previous
He
fire
watched
holder.
that man burn himself alive.
Good. You're sticking to the story. That's good. Yeah, we were exiled from that island. Bakars can do some fire things now. We went through Snake, got some lore. We started looting a fort that had like definitely a ghostly army that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that
we lucked
appears.
out on that. That could
Yeah.
have been a lot worse.
Let's see. Oh, we found a chest, and in the chest there was a contract for hunters of Von Drawn. I don't know if I said that right. By Ferdinand Rescardus. Hired to exterminate the Hyena. Oh, that was the island. Okay. And it was signed by Deus Leidenhander, the Huntmaster. That's all I got.
These are some good notes.
Queen.
I love it.
It's funny because those are the only 2 bullet points I have for session 10. So don't lot up my notes yet. Queen Bard traveled between the island and the country. Need to petition the governor at Gevaus. Oh yeah, wait, weren't we taking a ship up the coast?
Yep.
To a city we landed in, and that's where it ended or something?
Yeah. Yeah, you guys basically touched upon everything major. The only thing that I'll add is that, yeah, you guys, just through random rolls, you ended up running into Captain Karamo out in the wild. And
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, and you ended up turning over the war chest to him to basically be like, could we get a favor? Could you potentially introduce us to the governor? Karamo actually agreed. And he said, if you make your way north east to the House of the Last Hopes, which is like this dock that he and his men were located at, you could take the ship north to he called it the Night Fortress Gevaus. You guys found out that this ship that you saw like previously shelling the village that the Hyena were staying in belonged to the governor. There's a lot of antagonism there, a lot of
racism,
prejudicial hatred for sure. But yeah, I think we'll start there. So this first scene that I'm gonna set, because you guys left off basically heading up northeast, we rolled that there was like heavy rainfall that was coming down during this like early morning time period. We'll say it's like the 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Watch, as you guys are like making your way, somewhat blinded by the rain, but also just like it's hard to see because it's so dark out and it's storming. There's like thunder and lightning, and you come to this like old, it almost looks abandoned dock. It's like a pier that sort of extends out into the dark ocean. And I'm going to move you guys onto some art here that is going to show you what this scene looks like. Just imagine this, but way more stormy. This is that ship you guys saw.
Mm-hmm.
And Captain Karamo like sends his men off and he motions for you. He's like, "Come, follow me if you want to meet You have been lucky, all of you. And he points up, and you see there's like a flag that's tattering in this like rain-swept breeze, and it looks like it depicts a black rose. And he points up at it, and he's like, "The governor is on the ship. He can speak to you."
So this is. So we're on one ship, or we've docked at Gevaus already.
No, you guys have just gotten to these piers, and you see at
Okay.
the end of this rock pier, you'd have to sort of walk out precariously. There's like a dark ship in the distance.
Gotcha. Question for the group real quick before we respond. What was our plan to go to petition the governor for? Does anyone remember? I know we pulled Davarse away from the Hyena because we were like, no, we want to
Right.
Marstle and whatever sets Lilyheart
Lily
question
Hart.
mark
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
wanted to
Yeah.
leave this island in general, not just the Hyena, but leave in general. Were we gonna petition the governor to get us out of here essentially? Because we don't have any brands for the Dutch East India Trading Company anymore, so we're like free.
That sounds familiar. Something like seeing we could. We were gonna meet with the governor. I think we haven't met the governor yet, right?
You have not.
Sorry, what was that?
You have not. The only thing you know about the governor is he hired. You know 3 things. He hired the Hunters Guild of Gran Van Dram to hunt this race of people that live here called the Hyena to extinction.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
That you found that in paper.
Yeah.
You found that Benjamin Fitz received a contract to kill him, which you guys still have on your possession. And you heard from Beastly Saith, the leader of the Hyena, that he, along with other captured members of the Hyena, basically rigged them up to cannons and blew them away. And that's how Saith lost his arm. He was reaching for his mother, and it got blown off.
Okay.
Yeah. I do recall setting a trap of some sort that failed, or trying to set some sort of trap for this boat.
Yeah, you guys tried to fly out a bomb
What?
This is the boat that.
on Bones the
Yeah,
Hawk's
Bones.
back.
Wait, did I miss a session? What was this?
I think you did miss that one.
What session number are we on? 12 then?
Oh no, you were yeah. Well, I know that Davarse was Marstle was at least sick that session.
Okay.
So this is the boat that's been every night it like bombs the. Doesn't it? It comes.
coast.
I think it. Yeah, it comes and
okay.
like just rains cannon fire.
Yeah.
Wait, what session is this, by the way?
This is session 11.
Oh,
Lucky 11.
Lucky 11.
Paremo, if we wanted to curry favor with the governor, are there any piece of information that you're graceful enough to give us? Gracious enough to give us?
Okay, I'm gonna have you make a willpower save. I'm gonna see how kind he's gonna be based on this reaction roll.
Yeah, that's fine. Willpower. How does I have to roll on? Fucking, that's not gonna happen.
Okay. The only thing he says is the governor does not like to be toyed with. He enjoys people who are direct with him. Do not try to hide anything from him. He will be able to tell. That is what I will tell you.
That was more than I was expecting. Appreciate it.
It may not be in our best interest for me to go talk to him.
And
if he
why
can
why is
tell.
that exactly?
I think he will probably be able to tell my disdain for his existence. If what Gremo is saying is true.
That does seem like an issue. I would say that you could have disdain for a person, but also still be cordial enough to leave and arrange a settlement arrangement, of course. So maybe just be upfront about that if he presses you on it. But as long as you don't hide anything, I think we're all set.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if I see him, I might just try to get him.
That seems a little more serious than you were explaining just then. So maybe don't beat around the bush like you just did, but in front of the governor, or just don't come at all. Maybe I don't know if you're gonna get off the island, but if you can't restrain yourself, I do not want to be in the same vicinity as you while we walk up to the governor of Gevaus. And you see Marstle kind of does the two hands in the air, kind of shrugs and be like, "Oh."
All I'll say is anything you guys want to do is on the table. So if you guys would like to negotiate with him, if you guys would like to try to assassinate him, if you'd like to intimidate him, all sorts of plans are available.
One of those seems possible, which is negotiation. So we're on this pier. This pier is attached to the Night Fortress. Like we were sailed up. We landed at a pier. At the end of this pier is the governor's ship.
No, you guys
Or we are
haven't sailed yet at all. Essentially, he just like walked you guys to the piers, and
Oh.
you see this ship has now come around. So it's a matter of like, basically, he's telling you, "Oh, you guys are in luck. It looks like based on the flags that are flying that the governor is on the ship."
That is. Oh, that's.
You thought that you could have to take the ship north to Gevaus to see him, but he's actually on the ship.
I see.
What type of ship is this? Like, is it one like you pay a fare and it'll ferry you across, or is it like a merchant ship or just a pirate ship? Like,
You know what?
like
The
would we be
governor's ship?
welcome on this ship?
Yeah, I'll have you give me. This will be willpower, essentially, to perceive like what kind of ship this is, what the whole situation is. So give me a willpower save.
That's smart.
Nice. Okay, so you're
Oh.
so you're actually gonna get a lot here.
That's huge.
You see that this ship is about 200 years outdated. This appears to be like a caravel. You see there's this old writing on the side that says Meridian Cantos. Looks to be the title of the ship. And you know that Meridian Cantos is with a 1, which is a critical success. It was part of a fleet called the First Fleet that was like going out and discovering all these new islands, and that eventually discovered or rediscovered the Golden Lands to the south. That was the beginning of this massive colonization effort that happened from the old world to the new. And this ship famously went missing in a storm 200 years ago. But it looks to be running here. You see motion on the deck like it's fully crewed. And it looks to be like a caravel of war. There are like a bunch of cannons. Not as many as a modern ship, but, probably 9 or so cannons you gather on each side. Actually, I can tell you the exact number real quick. Let me see. Eight on each side.
Mm. We didn't learn about what the ship does besides shell the Haida or the coast.
Well, you gather this is an offensive military ship.
Correct. Well, it was an offensive military ship 200 years ago.
Yeah, somehow still operational despite the time.
Yeah. I don't believe we're prepared to meet the governor in our current state. I feel like we need more information, and so if we can curry favor with the governor at a later date, but still take the ship to Gevaus, I believe that might be at least the best.
How long could we expect the ship to stay in the harbor before it departs?
I mean, we don't have to meet the governor. If this truly is a ship that we can take to Gevaus without meeting the governor, I think that is the best idea. That way we can just get to Gevaus and then meet the governor while he's in Gevaus after learning more information about him.
I mean, he's on the ship. We're gonna
But
try
I'm
to
saying
get on
he is
and
on.
avoid
He is.
him.
I mean, we don't have to avoid the governor, but I'm saying we are not prepared or equipped to negotiate with him, and so we use the ship as transport, but don't
Yes.
really acknowledge his presence beyond he is on the ship.
Keep a low profile, you're saying. Use a ship
Yeah,
to get
just
out of the
use it as a
island.
correct.
I'd like to get
to
off
Gevaus.
this island.
That's only because the Ahaina aren't particularly fond of you right now, isn't it?
Yeah, kind of burn that bridge.
Literally burned.
Yeah.
In their defense, they treated us quite well until you, allegedly, burned one of them alive.
It was part of the ritual, is all I can say.
Sure, I was there.
Sure.
You didn't go through the ritual.
You're right. I did not. Well, let us see. Perhaps I could sink the boat.
Did you say that out loud?
Sure.
I really hope that was a joke. Even so, I don't believe that saying that out in the open serves anyone here particularly well there.
Sure. I think it would serve the Haina well to stop being bombed every night.
Why do you think they do it? What do they get out
We
of
know-
bombing the Haina?
They we saw with the contract they were contracted to get rid of the Haina.
Oh, trying to.
Just a classic genocide.
Correct. So, all of our opinions aside, are we all going to Gevaus? Okay,
Most certainly.
so
I'm not even entirely sure what's in Gevaus.
But it's
it
away
is just
from
not here. It is
Yes,
not here. It is the
exactly.
most well-resourced part of this island that we know of so far, and if we want to leave the island, that will probably be the best ticket out, essentially. What we do after we leave or as we leave, that can be decided once we get to the more well-resourced part of the island. For example, Caleb, what's your character's name?
Backara.
It is Backara, okay. Backara could hatch a plan, independent of the other two people in this party, to potentially kill the governor. But we probably have to get to where he lives first.
Well, I suppose it is worth the brief diplomacy to get a better idea of what they are doing, what they have.
Alright, so I think we're agreed. We just need to signal and or row ourselves to the ship. So, first problem is getting from this pier, and I look down at our shambly pier that we're on, to out there, which is like a boat 500 yards away or more.
Do we think Karemo could do a
I
signal
feel
for
like
us?
I think I pushed our luck with asking him about the governor already. We probably have to trade something for it. Does anyone have another Arcanum they'd be willing to part with?
I don't think I have any arc.
No, but I'm gonna take out like 5 shillings and
Is that a
ask.
lot of money?
No.
Here's 5
Um,
pennies. Could you take us to this ship?
No, shillings are a decent amount. That'd be like
Okay.
$5 essentially in like our currency.
I'll hold them up.
Doesn't sound like a lot of money.
Well, it's more than like it's more than like
is that inflation adjusted?
it's more than like 5 pennies basically. Like you could get something with it.
Karemo, can you get that boat to come a bit closer so we can get to it? Or do you happen to have a paddle boat we can take?
You can follow me. Just go across the rocks. The water here is too shallow for it to come closer. Besides, and he has his war chest, and he's like, I have to renegotiate my pay structure. And he just...
I forgot we gave him the entire war chest. I guess that curries some favor with Kurebo, is we gave him many spoils.
Yeah. He sort of has one end tied to like this gnarled rope, and he has it over his shoulder, and he's just slowly walking out. You gather if you all followed him, you could walk across the rocks to like the gangplank that this ship has extended out.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Last.
Yeah, you guys make it up. The moon in the sky is large and crooked. It looks like it's going to be a full moon in just a few days. You see the flag of the governor, a black rose that's flapping in the breeze. And down the gangplank, this like tall and muscled brute steps down. He's lumbering. His skin is slick with sweat, and he has this broad, flat face with wide eyes, wild with jaundice, and he sort of has this set of blue lips that sort of stretch a little bit too far on his face as he smiles at you, and he has this like massive, stylized, muscled breastplate with like floral gilding coming out from the center. And you see across his shoulder, he just has a leather bandolier of like 6 bombs across his chest. But weirdly, you see he kind of has like a metal faceplate, almost like a mask. This is what this guy looks like that steps off the ship.
I noticed his bombs accordingly.
And he sort of looks you all over with like a discerning gaze. He has a much different accent than anyone else you've heard on this island. He turns and he's like, Korema, who are these men with you? Are they coming north to Gevaus? And Korema's like, they have paid for passage on the ship. They can stay on cot if you'd like. But they are business partners of mine. He gives you guys a little smile. You see like one or two of his teeth are golden. There is a prospect of making money with this group. And you and your men would be wise to get to know them. And he just starts to turn. talk to this guy in a language that none of you speak. And then he sort of pats him on the shoulder. He hands him that war chest. And the brute is like, "You may follow me onto the ship."
I turn around and tip my hat at Koremo.
He nods back towards you. Just gives you like a little... And then starts to walk back. He soon disappears into these sheets of rain that are falling. And as you walk up the gangplank, you see about 4 or 5 of these guys. They all look similar. They have like this like golden like breastplate with these like gilded patterns with all leather bandoliers of bombs. You see some of them also have these like huge war hammers that are slung around some of their shoulders. That
Are
like,
these normal sized people, or are they like also giant?
they're giant. They look to be like 7 feet tall.
Oh my god.
And they're just like overseeing creatures that perhaps are more frightening than them. You see there are these creatures that appear to be bumbling around the deck like they're supposed to be deckhands, but they appear to be creatures of human hands that have been sort of stitched together into a ball, and they're just sort of padding along, and then like a different set of hands takes over to walk, and then a different set of hands takes over to walk.
That's cool.
And you see it's like optimal almost for what they're doing, because they're like passing cannonballs to each other. They're like handling
You
rope.
got 3D gears made of hands, is what it sounds like.
Yeah, they're like rolling and like tying up rope as they roll. This is what this creature looks like.
Oh yes, you have a picture. Oh, this is not at all what I expected. I thought like a full ball of hands.
No, yeah, it's a little bit like there's a little bit more creature to it than just hands.
It's grotesque.
Yeah, but they don't speak. They just like click to each other and then like skitter away, each doing their tasks. All around you, you see salt-stained wood, taut ropes, and sturdy cannons. But as you step onto this ship, I'm gonna have everyone give me a willpower save.
What is this for?
You will find out.
Let's go.
I have a sick willpower, so this is not great. As before we step on the ship, I say to Backara, "Please restrain yourself." And then I stand on the ship, and I think we all get the idea of not to fuck around because of everything that's going on.
Also, these guys are fucking huge, and they have like.
That's what I'm saying. It's like
Seriously?
I prepped Backara to not be an idiot. We all step on the ship, and we all immediately get the sense that we cannot be idiots.
Backara is still for everybody to know, very much focused on this bandolier with 6 different grenades on it.
And it's sort of an ironic twist, because as soon as you tell Backara to like calm down and not go crazy, you like start to lose it, because you look up and you see instead of masts, there are just 3 like membranes that are like sails, you can only assume, and they're sort of like the texture of like bat wings.
Cool.
And you see like
Gross.
and you sort of see the main mast has this like lidless eye, not a symbol, a literal lidless eye that's like positioned back towards the wheel of the
crow's
ship.
nest is an eye. I see.
And you start to feel like the wood beneath you is dark, almost too dark, slick, as though it might be alive. But no one else sees these things but you. And you're just like slowly freaking out. You're gonna take 3 willpower damage.
So wait, do I subtract that from my hit points? How does that work again?
So willpower in like the left sort of column, you can just subtract 3 from that, so you'll have 3 out of 6 willpower.
Okay. Yikes.
You
Now,
don't have to make too many more of those rolls.
I'm wondering, so does the ship look like a lot of the pieces have been repaired, like over the years?
It does, and it looks like they have been repaired by flesh of some kind.
Oh, okay,
That
that
is
was
just sort of like knitting pieces of wood
felt good until
together.
you added that second part.
Yeah, I kind of wish you didn't even ask the question.
I was wondering if it was like the exact same looking pieces, because that'd be kind of questionable, 200-year-old ship. But that answers the question.
You also see that the cannons, instead of having iron barrels, they just have gaping vertical mouths lined with teeth.
I knew it.
And you see...
knew it. Like, what could Tyler turn this into?
And you see these creatures, these like hand creatures, are just feeding them black powder and lead, tending to them like surgeons.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Hand monster surgeon?
Yeah, it has a lot of mobility, a lot of dexterity. But yeah, it starts to all of a sudden seem much more organic than you thought at a first glance.
Marcel's not speaking. He's just kind of like in shock and just like looking at everything pretty much with fear in his eyes, and you have no idea why he's shut up.
I think Davarse is just like he's taken in the ship, and he's just like looking at the island, ready to like say goodbye to it, sail on to greener pastures. Hopefully.
As these monsters are moving around you.
Greener, much fleshier pastures.
And that huge guy, he kind of looks like a knight that was like something alchemical maybe done to him. He's like, "Come with me. You are going to head down to crew quarters. It is on the row below." And he lifts up this like massive hatch that like maybe only one of these huge men could even like lift properly.
Great.
And there's just like a ladder that descends down. There's some like lamps down there. There's a little bit of light. Do you guys descend?
I think Backara pushes me down the stairs to descend. I don't resist.
Yeah.
I'm just like still in shock.
I'm last in line, and I don't know about you, Vinny, but are you just heading down?
Yeah, I think he just jumps down. You know, it's like we've seen a lot of shit, so it's.
And then yeah, Backara just kind of like bumps into Marstle as he stopped walking, and just kind of picks him up just a little bit, and just kind of pushes him along the way as he's like freaking out, looking around everywhere.
Okay. You head down, and this guy leads you to some rows of hammocks that are hanging. The material of the hammock seems strange and not normal, but you've learned maybe not to question these things. And there appear to be a few human crew that are down here. They don't look monstrous or weird at all, but they appear to be half mad. They're just sort of like talking to themselves in that language that you all don't speak. And when you come in, they all look at you like rather expectantly. There's like rings around their eyes. One of them's like, "Que moris salum, que moris." And then the guy that looks like a knight sort of like backhands him out of the way and is like, "These will be your cots for the night."
I just lay in the calm. I think I'm resigned for the night. I'm just like, get me out of here.
What is your name?
My name is Badalas.
Alas. Well, thank you for your assistance.
If I may ask, how did all of you come to this island? I know the governor will want to know. He may pay you a visit at some point, but that I cannot control.
As much as Marstle would want to answer, he will not because he's still freaked out. So hopefully one of you two can come up with something that doesn't get us thrown off the ship.
I was brought to this island, unbeknownst to me and unwillingly. That is the only real thing they know about how I got here.
Under what situation were you brought
I'm
against
not
your will?
I'm not really sure. I washed up on the shore, and I was here. Had to find a way off. Where is this island, anyways? What is it even called?
I'm not the one to answer that for you. You will have to ask the governor. There is not much we can disclose to outsiders. There is an agreement between the governor and your queen. And as such, members of your country cannot freely travel here.
Of my country?
Yeah, so the queen made a decree or something that the queen barred travel between this island and the country. You need to, and we were brought here as slaves to basically work and pay off our debt, which no one usually does. So technically, wouldn't be lying to say we were slaves brought here and then paid off our debt. And then we're trying to look for a way back to our country because our ships got sunk by some force we don't really know. That's when we washed up ashore.
Yeah, I was just trying to be vague and not lie.
Yeah, which is fair.
Without revealing too much, but
Which is fair. Which everything I said, I will probably say eventually. I am just
fair.
fucking
You're
psychologically
freaked out.
KO'd right now. Yeah.
Are you not from Bastion? Are you from somewhere else?
Who's that directed at?
To you, because you're like my queen?
Yeah. Oh, fair.
You're not from the Empire?
I guess not, if I'm not familiar with the Queen. Just playing dumb.
Very well. You will have a lot to learn of our ways then.
I find there is a lot to learn no matter where I go. But I will be respectful nonetheless.
I think you should try to be, at least as far as you can be. I hope you all enjoy your rest. If you need anything, you may come to find me on the top deck. But don't go wandering around, please. Or I will have to trap you like a rat. And he just closes the door, and you just see this huge shape just start to ascend back up to the top deck. So it's just you and these like half dozen like half mad humans.
He's a gentle giant.
Weirdly, he does seem kind of gentle. Yeah.
So, did Lilyheart come with us, I'm presuming?
No, he's here too. So is there anything you guys would like to do before going to bed?
Marcel's KO'd. He's just staring at the ceiling, wishing he was not here. He's having a prolonged panic attack.
In this flesh ship you guys are now on.
Yeah.
What about Backara and Davarse?
Are we being stared at, or did they just stare at us when we walked down here?
There's like 6 guys that are cowering in the corner of this room with you. They appear to be like olive-skinned, black-haired sailors that are just looking at all of you and like, you know, like rail thin, like they haven't been like fed in weeks. And they're talking amongst themselves nervously. But other than that, you guys, it's just you guys and them in here.
Nah, maybe I'd just like, I don't know, like sharpen my dagger or something, and then just, you know, make sure that's good to go, and huddle up in my flesh hammock and get some Z's.
Okay. What about Backara?
I guess he would probably try to talk to any of the ones that like. Are there any that seem like more conscious or like capable than the rest, like more humanish than the rest of them?
Yeah, well, they all appear to be human, but just like starved, and very much like crazed. There is one that appears to be more sane than the others. He's sort of an older man, maybe in his 70s, that's just like sitting crouched by one of the lanterns. He's not interacting with the rest, who are kind of like getting themselves up into a stir.
So am I able to kind of like notice him out of the crowd, you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think I would go over to him and just be like, I'll just do it in character. Hello, sir. Are you able to help me understand what is going on this ship?
Were you captured as well?
Me and
Yeah. I'm still knocked
My-
out. That was a joke.
me and my 2 compatriots came upon this ship willingly.
3, I guess. Lilyheart's here as well.
Oh, is Lilyheart with us?
Mhm.
Me and my 3 compatriots came on this ship willingly, intending to get travel off of this island.
I am sad to be the one to tell you this,
God damn it.
but they are not going to let you leave. They may let you off this ship, but we are headed to the mines. That much I have gathered from their language.
He's looking around. He looks like certainly paranoid. He's not as crazy as the others, but like he's definitely watching out.
The beasts on this ship. They are ungodly, unholy. They look to the light of the moon as men look to the light of the sun. And they worship strange and false gods that none of us have heard of.
Jeez.
If they do not put you to work in the mines, they will put you out as part of the hunt. I think that is whatever experiment they have going on here. They release captives in the wild and hunt them for sport.
That sounds like a book I read once.
Oh my god.
It's the most dangerous game.
I'm dying.
Uh, and I assure you, if that is what they do, I and my friends will most certainly be the most dangerous game they have ever hunted.
Where humans are the animal.
Humans are the animal.
What use would you and most of these men be in the mines? Are they physically capable? They seem like there's something clouding their minds.
I mean, these conditions are what is driving them to insanity. This place of wood and flesh is unholy.
And he has like a small icon that you guys recognize as Saint Catalina. You encountered her previously in that tower you guys were in to the south.
Right.
And
He's just like, Que moris a la lum de Santa Catalina. May she keep us safe.
What did I must have got rid of that token of hers.
oh yeah, you might still have it actually.
I don't see it on my inventory, unfortunately. I must have traded it away for something. Or did I give it to somebody else?
Yeah, let me see.
Because I thought you said it wasn't worth the trade for Karemo. But I don't see it anywhere. Do we put it in like a... Do we have a satchel somewhere? I know you gave us a couple different little things like that.
Yeah, I was checking that your satchel. I don't see it listed, but I'll just say you have it. I don't remember you getting rid of it, so
Cool.
I'll say it's in one of your satchels.
Just add it to the satchel. What was her name again?
Saint Catalina of the Bells. This is how you spell it.
And it was like a pendant or a token of some sort?
Yeah, we'll say it's a pendant.
Alright.
And
In that case,
yeah.
I'll take it out. And
You,
kind of say like a prayer with him.
you are a bell tender as well.
I am familiar. She has protected us in the past.
Oh, they may look favorably upon all of you then as well. They are savages, yes, but this was their faith long ago, before they gave it up. Keep that with you, just in case.
How long have you been on this boat?
2 weeks. No food except the rats we've managed to grab and eat with our bare hands.
That is why all of these men are so depraved. This
Yes.
is not right.
They have taken to drinking seawater.
Oh no. It's real bad.
I am not taking part in that, but How can I blame them? We are not given anything otherwise.
Well, hopefully we get to a place where they will let you off this ship soon. And when we can get the men's strength back, perhaps we can make them pay for what they've done to you. And all of them.
These men must feel the bell of law once again. They cannot be allowed to live for what they have done.
Now you are speaking my language.
As soon as you say this, the door comes open. It wakes all of you up. And one of those armored guys goes over to the people that are cowering in the corner, and he grabs one of them and starts to drag him out. And he's like, "Time for you to go to the meat hold." And he's just dragging him out. He's like kicking and screaming. And he shuts the door, and you hear his shouts go down the hall as he is being dragged away. But this guy seems to definitely be on your side with that, wanting to kill these guys.
What, and I'm afraid to ask, is the meat hole?
I do not know. I have not seen it. But
My assumption is no one comes back from it.
Correct. Ships, they have cargo holds, but this one is not filled with goods.
Do you think they are feeding the ship?
I am certain of it. Something dark and occult feeds the ship. And every time they firebomb those poor people off the coast, I think to myself, what can we do? What options are we left? Resist and be put in the hold?
If living becomes so miserable that it is not worth it, then fighting to the death becomes a lot better of an option.
What do you propose, then?
I do not know exactly the capabilities of the people who are controlling this ship or the ship itself. For all I know, it could be listening to us right now. But nonetheless, I think we must try to band together all the people that we can to sink this ship once and for all.
You think we should do it tonight? Before we make it to Gevaus?
I do not know if we would have any way of saving ourselves. So we best wait. Perhaps we can sink it after we've already left.
I will be patient then.
For now, at least.
And if they take me as well,
And he extends his hand. You see he has like some like tattoos, like he's a long-time sailor.
my name is Similor.
Thank you for all that you have taught me thus far. I hope that we can see liberation together.
The living should have power over the dead, not the other way around, is how I see it.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with. I don't think the dead should be around powering over anybody.
And he turns over. He's just sleeping on the ground. And you turn over in your cot. So we'll say, would you like to just go to sleep, Backara? Would you like to prepare anything tonight? What are your thoughts?
I think I'm probably gonna need to get some sleep. But I think I would stay up. Is there like some sort of guard that's paying attention to this hold?
It's unclear. The door is shut.
Okay. In that case, yeah, I guess I would probably just go to sleep.
Question now, in these quarters, did I come down there with my hawk, or is that guy flying in the sky far away right now?
Yeah, we'll say you have your hawk on you.
Okay, cool. Just probably would have said something like, "If anyone fucking touches this hawk, I'm gonna gut you like a fish and let the rats eat your intestines while you're still living." Because I can tell everyone's hungry.
Yeah, there is a moment where they're all sort of looking at it, and they're like waiting for you to nod off so they can like jump it.
Yeah, I think like he's like sharpening his like dagger and he sees like the eyes on him and that's when he like would probably say something like that, before he tries to get some sleep. Because I don't think Davarse like immediately realizes like the peril he's in.
Yeah, and you sort of tell these guys off. They don't understand what you're saying, but they just sort of back off when they see the knife.
Good.
And that older guy, Similor, he ends up sort of saying something to them in this other language after Backara is done with him, and they all back off. Like he's conveyed to them the message. But yeah, if you guys all go to sleep, you're woken up like within a period of like maybe 4 hours. So Marstle, you can return your willpower back to normal after a brief rest. But you look out this like porthole on the side of where you guys are, and you see what looks like a fortress set at the end of this like long walkway that extends out to the sea. It looks like it was built as like an artificial island, separate from the mainland. But even on the mainland, you see what looks like a walled city. And you see 2 derelict ships that appear to be in the bay right by this fortress. And the architecture is weird. It doesn't appear like this fortress, like by any accounts, should be still standing. Like its upper levels are like bigger than its lower levels, and it's sort of lopsided, like it's falling into the ocean, almost like the land itself is rejecting this presence. And this place is teeming with military presence. You see there are a lot of guys that look like they are hunters of Grand Vandram that are operating as like soldiers. One of them has a torch that he's leading across the walkway because it's so covered in mist that you can't even see like, beyond 100, 200 feet in front of you. There are like dinghies and small boats with hunters in it, as well as figures in other garb you don't recognize. And they pull up to a dock, and this is what you guys see. This is Gevaus, the Night Fortress.
It's giving baby Castlevania castle vibes.
Yeah. It has like 3 or 4 levels to it. And as soon as they start to load people onto rowboats, they separate you from the men that were in the hold with you. Similor all of a sudden starts to reach out towards you, Backara, because they're starting to like fully separate you guys and put you onto different boats.
You gave the man false hope. What are you gonna do? This is so mean.
I have no idea.
No, not Similor, bro. He's gonna come back to kill us or something. He's gonna somehow survive.
And blame us for not
No, just Backara. Just Backara.
Yeah, just Backara.
So what? There's just putting us on different boats outside of this castle?
We bought passage on the boat, but all Similor knew was that we were captured along with everyone else to go to the mines or get hunted. And so, because we were actually paid for, we are going to Gevaus like we were supposed to, and Similor is about to get destroyed.
It's early in the morning. I'm just waking up.
You pretend to be asleep, just like brutally.
Help me!
That'd be so bad.
Oh man. Where is he being taken?
That lot are being taken to the mines. They are not as fortunate as you, I'm afraid. You can say bye-bye to your friends.
Can I buy his freedom?
Brutal.
For what? How would you know the price of a man's worth?
I'm already on the ship. I'm like I walked ahead of this shenanigans over here, and Marstle is like taking his out.
Because I have been sold before.
Got money to back it up, buddy?
What do you want for him?
He sort of perks up at that.
Oh, I did not know this. You are a bushman then, from the south? From the Golden Lands?
I love this guy's accent, Tyler. I just want you to know that. This is great. He's like a slight German in it, and
yeah,
it's perfect.
Just unhinged.
We do not refer to ourselves as bushmen.
Well, that is what I have referred to you as.
Nonetheless, what do you want for him?
Well, I will have you know that the governor purchased this stock himself. So if you wish to purchase him, you may entreaty my lord in Gevaus for the opportunity. It was his very hands that captured this man on the coast. Perhaps it is these very hands that you can pay.
He turns to his men.
Let that one come with us for now.
Ooh,
Send
did something about it.
Send the rest to the mines.
And these like huge guys just like load the rest of them on. They're all still screaming and like reaching out. But Similor, for the moment at least, has been saved.
Had to do something.
Say bye bye to your friends was fucking crazy.
Weirdly, around this fortress Gevaus, you see that there are like weird lightning strikes that appear to be black lightning that's arcing from the ocean to the sky. This was previously seen in one of your guys' visions of the past. I think it was the first session, actually. You guys had like a vision of the past where you saw that from the ship where you guys were first imprisoned. It was like black lightning that was striking. And you see that now as you all are let in. Are any of you guys like sort of paying attention to who's coming off the ship, or are you just like funneling right into the fortress?
Davarse are just one foot in front of the other, just going right
Yeah.
into the...
Right in.
Question about, so how much do we know? Probably not actually a lot. So how much do we know about the governor? Like, does this island that he does he hate the queen essentially? He's opposed to the queen and her kingdom, I guess. If this was some place that she cut off trade and free travel with, I'm assuming it's sort of reciprocal.
Yeah, why don't you give me a willpower save? I'll see how much you know about like the history of what's happening.
Not a big shock there.
Yeah, the only thing I'll tell you is you know that it's strange to be from the continent, i.e. the old world, and openly criticize the queen.
The continent being like the mainland.
Yeah, because you know it's like basically all part of the empire now, which controls the capital city being in Bastion. But that might have been an attitude to have 200 years ago.
You mean to not speak out against the queen?
To speak out against the queen.
Oh, I see. The current state of things may have not always been the status quo. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's good to know.
And you guys are all let in to this castle. It has no outer walls or gatehouse. You just go straight through these tall reinforced doors of iron directly. There appear to be all manner of like butlers and servants and like various members of the palace. The common thing you've noticed about all the humans on this island are that they all appear to be extremely pale-skinned. They all appear to have these like dark, maybe even purple lips and like long black hair. Kind of similar to this art of Karemo. I'll show you guys. They all look very similar to this. Minus the wings, of course. And they all seem to regard you all with like an extreme amount of suspicion. Like, why are these people here? And as you are led through, you all are led into a great hall. This guy who's leading you, his name is Badalas, talks in another language to one of these butlers. And the butler, who's like this tall, actually almost close to the height of Badalas, but he's like skinny with like sort of like a balding pate, turns to you and is like,
I will take you all to a bedroom off to the side that you may inhabit for now. The governor wishes to speak with you within the hour.
Oh. We appreciate it. How long has our arrangement from Karemo given us here in this fine establishment, fortress.
Well, I will say I am surprised to hear that you are all friends of Koremo. He has long drank too deeply of vile blood, so he is not closely in the governor's confidence.
We are business partners with him, not friends.
That is interesting. Well, it is within any expectations you might have that you will be bargaining for your life in an hour. So, be ready.
And this person leads you in to this guest bedroom that appears to be very opulent and maybe unlike anything you guys have experienced up until this point. But the vibe is definitely, all of you are not part of this race of people that are trying to colonize this island, and they may not honor any agreement that you guys might have had with Karemo at all.
Okay.
So it will be up to you to bargain for yourselves.
Mm-hmm. Can we leave the room in the meantime, or no? Are we sort of just locked in here for an hour?
You certainly could leave the room. The door is open. Inside your room, there are just like a couple of those very fancy, like medieval style beds with like the huge posts and everything. And there's just like a gilded cage that has this like sickly bird inside of it that's just constantly squawking.
Is there a window that like overlooks the water?
Yeah, you guys have one.
Bakar jumps out. He's making a run for it.
Jump.
Not no. It's more thinking about whether or not there's gonna be a window in the room that he's bargaining in.
Oh, you guys don't know where they're gonna take you for that. It may be here. It may be somewhere else in the palace.
Interesting.
I don't think Marstle wants to do anything before he meets. He will check if he still has that map tube on him, though, which I'm assuming he does.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what is your plan for bargaining for your life?
I've been thinking about that, and I think that the kingdom that the queen runs is neither here nor there, but they have slighted me and my family in a way that I cannot forgive. And so this tube here, to the best of my knowledge, holds something that the queen is after, and thus I've been hunted for quite a while by her protection man. And if there's anyone that can oppose them, help me dismantle them, just purely on a grudge, then I'm willing to bet my life on that. And so hopefully the governor is receptive to that idea, and maybe we could form some sort of an alliance. Whether you want to or not, that's completely on you, but I have my motives for both surviving and for revenge.
Well, in that case, I suggest you go first.
Okay. Is there anything you guys would like to do before meeting the governor? This will be the last chance.
I'm gonna take one more look at the map, I believe, and try to correlate any of it with more of the information the snake gave us. Because I haven't looked at the map in a while, and I haven't tried to infer any more information from it.
Okay. Yeah, so it appears to be like multiple things in one, right? So there appears to be like on one side of the map as you turn it, there are 13 saints that appear to be praying together, and there is like a fiery, what looks like a sun at the top. But when you flip it, which you figured out with the snake, you realize, looking at it upside down, it appears to be 13 heads of a massive hydra, like a snake, that come together. And looking at it from the bottom, it appears to be cradling this like fiery, like sun-like object. And I'll say, just because this is fun, I won't have you roll, but like looking upon it a second time, you realize that like the 13 heads of this hydra align roughly geographically to where the 13 duchies of the old world are on a map, and they appear to be cradling this thing in the south that you gather probably is representative of the Golden Lands. It's like this snake-like thing that is like set to devour this this thing of light to the south.
Do I have any money on me that I know would be taken in Gevaus or accepted in Gevaus?
Let me see.
Or do I know if like silver is valuable? Because I have silver nails at least.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. It's not on your sheet anywhere.
Yeah.
I thought you guys did have it in one of your satchels. You had some money.
Maybe. Do you have the shared satchel in this? Is that why? We had a root burrow.
Oh yeah, you have 300 shillings.
Oh, cool.
I found it. It's in your satchel.
All right. I am going to go for a walk then, and I'll tell Backara and Davarse as much. But I'm going to search for a parchment and ink vendor.
Okay, in the fortress?
Yeah, if there's some salesman or I don't know what the fortress this is all there is, but there may be some vendor that sells something like that. So I'm going to see if there's anyone that can sell a piece of parchment roughly the same size.
Yeah.
As the map.
Yeah, as you sort of head out, you see there's a lot of architectural symbology involving like flower petals that appear to be like gilded and golden, and seems to be a lot of like things about wealth of this place. And making your way out, you don't see any vendors, but a servant comes up and communicating with them in the broken sort of tongue that's like a half tongue between yours and theirs. They get you an ink and a piece of parchment for no cost.
Okay. So I'm going to also. I'll ask for two pieces of parchment then. I will. Scribe, and then hopefully the next hour, at least roughly, I will roll up one piece of parchment, put it in the tube. Take the second piece of parchment, lay out the map inside our little bedroom, and scrawl the map. Basically an outline of the map. So it's not an original, but it like gets to the point as much, so there's enough detail to bargain with. And then, notably, I am going to take the first piece of parchment that I stuck in the tube before Davarse and Backara saw, and I'm gonna like do a quick swap and then burn it in front of them.
Oh shit. The original?
No, not the original. The fake one that because I bought two pieces of parchment.
Yeah.
I'm essentially copying the map, putting it in the tube, and then pulling out the fake blank one and burning the blank one. So it looks like I'm burning the original. I have the original, but then I have a scribed copy.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Right.
So you still have. So now you have the original in the case.
I have the original. I have the original in the case that no one should know about, and I'm going to try to get rid of that or hide it before the meeting. And so I have a bargaining chip, which is this drawn map from traced knowledge, but the original is quote burnt. So like I have a chip to bargain with, which is I have knowledge of the map, but I have to stay alive in order for the governor to use it.
Okay, I like it. Okay. With that prepared, a servant arrives. This time it's like a young girl, maybe 14 or 15, that arrives outside your door. And she's like,
The governor would like to see you all now, if you are ready.
I guess take us to him if you two are ready.
Ready as I'll ever be.
you guys head out, and you notice that along the way you start slowly accumulating those like massive dudes from the ship. Like one of them comes along, and then another one from another corridor comes along, and then now there are probably 4 of them that are with you. And they lead you into this massive, looks to be like a courtyard.
Cool.
But it's very gray. There's a lot of like mists from outside that are swirling through. And you see like in this like it's not a harsh silhouette like it's the sun, but it's just like a very vague silhouette in the corner. There's this woman in like a 16th or 17th century flowing gown. It looks like a very expensive dress with like a powdered wig, but her face appears to be extremely thin and like white and almost sallow, like with a tinge of yellow, like these people you've seen. And you just hear the sound of like wood creaking as she is wheeling somebody in on a wheelchair. And you see in this wheelchair, there's this like short, fat figure in this very expensive but faded attire. He has his hair in like a middle part that appears to have once been blonde, but it's since faded to almost white. You don't know whether it's like of age or whatever unnatural situation is happening with these people. But as she wheels him out to the center, she sets him down, stands there with sort of like an arm on his shoulder. And he turns to all of you and speaks your language fluently, unlike the people here. At least as you guys have seen so far. And he's like,
Welcome. Welcome to these dark fens of which I call myself the governor. I am Lord Ferdinand II Lascaris, Count of Urgel. It is my understanding,
And you see one of like the huge dudes brings out this cage that has Similor inside of it.
Oh, okay, you're going first.
Oh.
it is my understanding that one of you wishes to purchase this man from me.
That is correct.
Oh, please, step forward.
All right, take a step forward.
Well, aren't you an interesting specimen? Still yet unbounded by the laws of empire of the old world. From which part of the Golden Lands do you hail?
And you see he takes out, he has like white gloved hands, and he takes out this ancient looking book, and he's like folding the pages. The woman next to him takes out like a feathered pen, like licks the end of it, places it in an inkwell, and has it hovering like she's about to write something inside of it.
Where am I from? The Southern Kingdoms?
Yeah, this will be your opportunity. I mean, we haven't established this, but you can tell me what like your village was called or your city.
Oh, oh man, I'll make myself laugh. I am from Burkina Faso.
Oh, here we go.
Oh boy.
An interesting village I have not heard of.
And she writes down the name in his book for him.
As
But-
you all can see, I have fallen ill. I have not retained the use of my legs in quite some time. So I have to have people constantly tend to me as I inhabit this palace and inhabit my ships. Well, anyways, I suppose you must think this place I rule must be some kind of backwater, but I assure you all manners of civilized things can be found here.
I do not doubt that.
What do you offer for this man?
$40.
Oh my gosh. You see, whatchamacallit, Marstle kind of rub his temples and be like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, by the way, this is what this guy looks like. I forgot to share this with you.
Oh yeah, let's tell you this.
Ew.
Wait, who is that? That's a real
Oh.
person.
Yeah. Whose face did you Photoshop onto the 17th century body?
Yeah, that is it's actually concept art from a series that just came out called Jonathan Norrell and Mr. Strange. So it's a well-known actor. I forget his name. But yeah, he sort of looks at all of you.
40 shillings. That's quite a bit of money to offer for one lone man that we recovered on the coast. Might I ask why you'd offer such a large sum for him? It is my understanding from speaking to Bardalas that you just met him.
That is correct. He is a kind soul, and he will not do well mining.
Well, it softens my heart to know that even so far away from the enclaves of civilized humanity, one such as you would make such a stirring offer to me.
I kind of nod, bow.
But what would you be willing to pay for your own life? You freed this man.
50 shillings.
50 shillings. So make a willpower roll twice, and if either of them succeed, he'll take that bargain.
Oh,
Nice.
we got a crit on the
Nice,
first.
nice.
Of course, I am only kidding with you. I would not be
Wow.
any kind of amenable host if I were to imprison everyone who I came across. Tell me about yourselves, please. I am intrigued. Are you all castaways?
As far as I remember.
In more definitions than one for some of us.
And I suppose you just want to get back where you came from? Not bother at all with our strange customs and doings here?
I can't speak for my compatriots here, but I come with open arms to this society. When you mentioned castaways, I meant that I am hunted by the queen and her guard. A reason that I have not completely divined yet, but a thought that you could be of some assistance, and that could be of mutual benefit.
Well, you have come to the right place, certainly. If I were to tell you the truth about your queen, you wouldn't believe me.
But I would be receptive.
They all have such greed in their hearts, those of the duchies. And sure, the Queen and I have an agreement, but it does not mean I look upon her favorably. After all, you are aware that the first queen of your so-called empire and the current queen are one and the same, and that she has not abdicated the throne for nearly 300 years.
That is truly a new piece of information for me, but I do not follow the Queen's line of succession very closely. I had a interest in upbringing that she abruptly took away from me. So not to disparage the information you provide, but it is truly of no importance to my objectives. Though I do appreciate your generosity in sharing.
Then what do you seek? Do you seek her head on a pike as a revolutionary or a debtor-slave might? Or do
Fortunately, much simpler than that. An act of retribution, of revenge. And so if you would like to partake in nullifying your agreement with the Queen, didn't seem like you are a big fan of it anyway, I could provide some information. Not sure what value it will have, but as long as it secures me a future in which I could oppose that regime, I'd be more than happy to provide some.
Tell me then, what information do you keep so close to your chest?
My family is my adoptive family was purveyors of maps and treasures, and we had stumbled into a map that it might have better have been left untouched. And as a result, my father was taken from me because of it. I've inscribed a copy here for these negotiations. Of course, I have memorized the full map and keep a copy undisclosed in a other location for safekeeping. And I pull out the map that I scribed earlier. Are you
Okay.
familiar with? Yeah. What?
No, go ahead, go ahead.
Uh, I ask. Are you familiar with the the snake that the folks on the island, not part of this fortress, worship or divine information from?
You see his jaws tense, and he looks probably the most serious he has thus far. Up until now, he's seen like like dandy and like but now his jaws tighten significantly.
And I only bring this up as a source for some information that I was able to corroborate with this parchment, and I sort of hold it out for a servant to catch and bring to him. I'm not gonna approach him in any way.
He looks at it.
Where is the original of this? This is quite valuable, I'm sure you know. And it would lend
Funny enough,
very well to my cause I wish to endeavor upon.
that is a cause I wish to support and potentially join, but unfortunately the map is, let's say, in safe hands until I can be assured that I won't be thrown out like pieces of trash to the mines or to be hunted. Relationships are a two-way street. And with objectives we both may have, it could serve us well to be in a partnership.
I think Korema was right to bring you before me. If you are speaking the truth, and you have access to the original, I agree that our partnership could extend quite far.
If it's not the original, I'd be surprised if the Queen's enforcement men were after me and killed my dad because of it. I'd be surprised if they'd be chasing after a worthless piece of paper. So,
Yes, the Order of the Eels, that is what you speak of. There used to be a navigating house, you know, back in the day, until they became something altogether different.
And now he takes the pen from the girl next to him and starts writing on his own.
You know, the progenitors of the old empire, the Medanians, their ossuaries were filled deep with gilded dead and bejeweled corpses. Why do you think that was?
do I know what he's referring to?
You know that it was a common practice in the old empire to bury your dead with like a ton of gold.
I unfortunately do not.
Well, let me enlighten you. They had a belief,
And he's just like writing as he's saying this.
that sometime in the future, they would be needing it. As if they would one day return, risen from some deep mud or mound, as the first men often dug. They were always looking for a way to transcend death, to bind it. Such was the cause of the elder race. to maintain the flower of prosperity for millennia, for eternity. And this is what I have achieved on my island. A total transcendence of death and its effects. I know it might seem rather fantastic to you, but I'm sure you have seen me and those in my employ. We may age, but we have escaped the matter of death entirely. And the sole reason for this is to strike back at that snake, Ados, that has so greedily infected the 13 duchies, the great banks, those who hold power in Bastion. Because as soon as the dragon rears its head, it has lost its way to gold. It cares no more for triumph, for the glory of empire. No, it is stuck under the drake's influence. Gold for gold's sake means nothing, but gold for empire and for glory and for power is righteous and good. In this era we currently find ourselves in one of untamed conquest, we have become bloated by the coffers of other nations. But we have never asked ourselves what we were gathering these resources for. Yes, I think we shall have a very good relationship, you and I, if you mean your words and you are not speaking to me with forked tongue.
Sorry, I was sneezing. I've been told by Karemo and others that it's best not to lie to you because you have ways of finding out the truth. And so I come here with a true proposition, one that will not disgrace you and your seat of power or me and my legacy, as we'll call it.
There's one thing you must do for me if you are to seal this arrangement. If you are open to it. And he looks, and you see one of the doors in the courtyard opens by itself into darkness. You must speak with the heart of the house and make a covenant of flesh, as all of us have. You must transcend death to bind it. There is no other way of fighting the Drake.
You see, so Marstle, you can see by his image, is like dressed well, but all of his clothes are tattered. He's still rough around the edges, and so his mannerisms are like a 17th century, like British poor man that still tries to uphold like some semblance of like upper class mannerisms, and so you see him take a very crude bow, smile, and you can see his like crooked teeth and like dirt filled gums, and he says, "Well, then if I could take my leave to talk, then."
Make your way. And join
And
us.
you see Marstle retreats into the heart of the house.
Okay. These wooden doors open, and you see it looks to be this infinite void. And as you step out, you see there is a narrow bridge of cartilage and bleeding meat that ends in something off in the distance, this huge shape in the blackness. And as you do you keep going?
Yeah.
You see it is a huge, like the size of a grand ballroom, maybe, beating heart.
Oh, legit heart of the house. Look at that.
Yeah. It emits this thin, wheedling, piercing sound as you approach. It has all these like arteries and veins that are constantly flapping open and closed. And you're all of a sudden hit by this like presence that overcomes you. Do you think Marstle has ever been hunting before?
I don't think so. Hunting like animals, definitely not. Hunting maps, of course. Hunting treasure, yes.
Has he ever well, tell me of a time that he's committed violence against someone or something else.
I would say Marcel's a passive man. I believe the only we'll add another organic backstory element. We won't rely on something else that's happened. I would say that when him and Jude had gone in search for treasure once during their life, they had happened upon another adventuring party of like maybe one or two younger men that were after the same treasure, of course, and they had ended up taking them captive. And in order to escape, while they tried to do it peacefully, they did not succeed. And so, in the middle of the night, to make sure they lived, they'd essentially escaped from their binds and then slit both of the other adventurers' throats and then left in the night.
Oh shit.
And continued hunting.
Oh shit. Yeah, just give me a name of the man whose throat you cut.
He presented himself with the name Elaine, but he doesn't know
That's sick.
if that was his true name or not.
Elaine. You hear the voice of Elaine come from this heart. And it's not speaking like a person would. Instead, it's like just like the veins and arteries that are flapping open, mimicking human speech. And it just says, "Hunter. Hunter." And you're hit by like this psychic reflection of like all of these scenes of like hunting and violence that have occurred across perhaps millennia, perhaps millions of years. You see like animals hunting each other. You see like humans like hunting each other, gathering each other, stabbing each other, killing in like mass battlefields, explosions, violence, some scenes of people, races, situations, battlefields you've never even heard of. And And it all ends in this like primordial predator's scream that issues forth from this this heart. And you start to taste like iron in your mouth, like the taste of blood. And the doors behind you close. And you're now in the dark with this thing. And in this void-like space, it's just like almost seems infinite blackness extends to both of your flanks. As that voice returns, and it's like,
Join us.
what does Marstle do?
Whatever that means, he'll do it. I think he doesn't know what to expect, so he kind of just opens his arm and like closes his eyes, but then squints open a little bit, like expecting to get hit by something.
Yeah, so you start to approach. This tendril snakes its way out from the heart and starts to coil its way like a snake around your wrist. And if you let it, this thing punctures your wrist, and through flesh, you're now connected to this beating heart until both your heartbeats synchronize. And then the thing starts to drain you of your blood.
Ooh.
It starts to issue forth out. Your skin starts to grow more pale, and the edges of your vision start to blur. And the last thing that you see before you're just completely sent into whatever darkness this unconsciousness holds for you is this thing's true form, which to you, in this moment perhaps of truth before you finally go unconscious,
Well, let's see who we
looks
teamed
to
up with here.
looks to be the still beating heart of the corpse of a demon.
Ooh, nice.
As you go unconscious and join this group of people that are controlling this island. I love this development so much.